Welcome back to Not So Grand Garage. Well, today's the day we're gonna make our first real camping trip in the hauler. And it's pretty loaded down. The floor done. We got our fridge freezer, little cooler deal loaded up. Fridge is loaded down. Let's take a look outside. And we've got the Jeep loaded up, which it is loaded down with tools and parts and anything else I can think of that might go wrong. Might be overthinking it a bit, but it is what it is. But yeah, she is ready to go, I think. We'll see. Running on oil so far, everything's checking out, but we're only a few miles in and got a couple hundred to go, so we'll see. Well, so far so good. Had to stop for a lunch break. Checking things over. I'm gonna check brake temperature and stuff like that. A little haze, but that's all right. We're back on diesel fuel. I ran it pretty hard on the way into town here to clean things up. But yeah, I'll grab a bite to eat and get back on the road. Well, we made it without many issues. No real issues to think of. Struggled on a couple of the grades to maintain speed, but we cruised between 55 and 60 all the way here. And yeah, no leaks, no issues. Drove, I'd say, 95% of the trip on oil. So that's a huge plus. Filled the tank up coming out of town. Filled the diesel tank up coming out of town. And it's still sitting on full, which is beautiful. But anyways, we're going to get the Jeep unloaded and get camp set up and get ready for the weekend. So well, we've made it back home. Not too much video on the trip, but the Jeep is still loaded up and pretty filthy. As you can see, a little bit of soot down the side, but it is what it is. We've got some changes to make, but pretty well happy with how the bus drove and everything. Ran good on oil, no complaints there. On the return trip, I started to notice it getting really smoky under load, So we're gonna make some changes as far as that goes. Probably bump timing up. That stock turbo is going away. We're gonna get something a bit more responsive, because under full load this thing's only making like 13-14 psi. And EGTs are good. They're running under full load around 1,000, which is plenty safe. But yeah, we've got a few changes to make inside. Nothing too major. Right now she's pretty well unloaded. Still a bit of a mess in here. Working on cleaning up since we just got back. We got cabinet doors to put on. We got some piddly changes I want to make as far as our main bed is concerned, and I want to add some more electrical outlets and stuff like that. All stuff we've just discovered that we need after this first trip. But yeah, no complaints otherwise. We were able to run between 55 and 60 all the way down and all the way back. Some of the grades slowed it down, which is to be expected with the transmission that's in this thing. But before we go back out on the road again, I believe I will be swapping this transmission out and making some changes to the motor. We'll be, like I said, bumping timing up. We may throw a little more fuel at it, don't know yet. Just depends on how that goes. And right now we're sitting at nearly 280,000 miles, and I'm pretty sure the injectors and everything have never been out of it. So I'll probably go on and pull the injectors out, either replace them or clean them, pop test them, and balance them. Maybe bump the pressures up a little bit, but we'll see. So transmission temperature ran at a max 210, and that's coming directly off the transmission. That's before the cooler too. So 545 stayed cool. The 1540 seemed to help a good bit. Before, with ATF in it, or Dexmark, it wouldn't want to pull 60 mile an hour loaded. It wouldn't do it. Now I could get 63, 64 mile an hour out of it on flat ground, pinned to the governor. Coolant temp stayed 180 pretty well constantly. It may have came up to 185 on a couple grades, but nothing crazy. Yeah, so overall I'm really impressed with how mechanically sound this thing seems to be. But we definitely do have some changes to make, like I was saying. Transmission's going bye-bye soon, and then we're going to turn the power up on this thing a good bit. Change turbo. We'll probably go with something, get something a lot more responsive. Maybe a 362 or a 364, something that'll work. I'll have to do a little research on it because I don't know Borg turbos that well. Let's see what'll work for the power range we want, and I'm going to bring the power up to around 275, 300 horse, something like that. It's 195 now, so that shouldn't be too hard to do. But yeah, so I filled the diesel tank up on this thing approximately 20 miles from the house, give or take. That's a lot cheaper across state lines. So, but yeah, and here we're sitting after our whole drive. So can't complain about that at all. But anyways, it is time to get the Jeep unloaded and go take a shower and relax, because tomorrow's a work day. Yeehaw. But yeah, if y'all got any comments, questions, drop them in the comment section below. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and we appreciate you watching.